Hey, hi everyone, welcome to Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our January second week IPOs edition. We took a brief hiatus in first week because there were no Mainboard IPOs and then there was just a couple of SME IPOs. So we thought we'll skip last week, and the market is also super unsupportive right now where we don't know where the bottom is. So yeah, it's kind of tricky, but yeah, we have a few IPOs which are coming in this week. So we thought we'll review them in the tradition and continue with it. But yeah, if in the meanwhile want to highlight that if you are going through some pain, we definitely feel you because all of us are in the same boat. But yeah, it's been a difficult start of the new year. Kind of reminded me of last year as well, where start was super bad. Like there were no IPOs between Feb, March, I think, like after April, May as well, apparently, and then it improved. So you can hope that it improves sooner than later. But yeah, uh, end of the day, it's a stock because market, so there will always be opportunities. Let's go ahead and find those opportunities and then invest basis that. But yeah, before I actually get started, let me set up the order for the day. We'll be covering two main board and two SME. Two main boards we'll be covering are Bharat Coking Coal and Amagi, and then we'll be covering two SMEs as well, Avana and Indo SMC. Before we actually get started, just a couple of news items per se, or what I usually always mention. One, we are not SEBI registered research analyst. Whatever we say is not a qualified opinion. हम लोग कुछ भी recommendation apply not apply कुछ नहीं दे रहे हैं. What we are doing is we are talking about the companies, what we feel about them. So आप अपना analysis करें and उसके basis पे ही take a call. Before I actually do that, I just want to check, am I audible, right? Because last time I had been speaking and then I realized I was not audible only.
Your voice is absolutely fine.
Perfect. Okay. Which is good. So, yeah, definitely do your due diligence and do not take whatever we say on face value. All of us has biases, some implicit and some explicit. So, definitely keep that in mind and only see this as a viewpoint with respect to companies. This we are wrong multiple times and we have been wrong multiple times. So, whatever we say can be wrong. Second, if you haven't followed our YouTube channel, the link is in the pinned comment. So definitely go ahead and follow our YouTube channel as well. But yeah, with that, let me like set the order for the day. We'll probably start with Avana Electrosystems, then we'll do Amagi, then we'll do Indo SMC, and then we'll close with Bharat Coking Coal. That's going to be the order for the day. So starting with Avana Electrosystems, just setting it up. Incorporated in 2010, companies engaged in manufacturing of customized control and relay panels and offers control and relay panels ranging from 11 kilowatt to 220 kilowatt for power systems monitoring and other uses for both indoor and outdoor usage. So कंपनी जो है वो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक रिले पैनल्स बनाती है. पैनल वगैरह की कंपनी आई नो, जो दूसरी एसएमई है वो भी ऐसी है, वो भी पैनल वगैरह बनाती है. सो उसके बारे में समझेंगे. बस सेटिंग, और ये पिन्या बैंगलोर की कंपनी, आई नो रोहित वुड बी अवेयर विद पिन्या. बट या बिकॉज ही कीप्स गोइंग देयर फॉर डिफरेंट रीजंस. बट या इन टर्म्स ऑफ द आईपीओ, इट्स अ 35 करोड़ आईपीओ, 30 करोड़ ऑफ विच इज अ फ्रेश इशू. मार्केट कैप 134 करोड़ का है कंपनी का. So around 26% dilution है. OFS भी है 5 crores का. 30 crores is going fresh into the company while promoters are taking a part exit of 5 CR. FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूँ तो कंपनी का रेवेन्यू 63 crores था और पैट 8 crores है. तो 8 crores पे 134 करोड़ पे मार्केट कैप पे आ रही है, यानी FY25 पे 15-16 टाइम्स टाइप की एम कैप है, का पी रेशियो है. एलएम की बात करूँ तो एलएम इंड कैप एडवाइजर्स है. सो विद दैट, ओवर टू यू सचिन टू टॉक अबाउट अवाना इलेक्ट्रो सिस्टम्स.
Yeah, I'm audible now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes
Uh,
sir.
Sorry for the glitch in between. So
No worries.
now coming to this Avana Electrosystems. So as you mentioned that they are based out of Bangalore and started way back in 2010. So primarily what they did do is they were a group of four people who were primarily working in some other firm which was into this similar related business of this control panels and relay panels only and protection relays etc. And then they started to form their own venture because of the experience that they had from the prior business venture, and then they formed this Avana Electrosystems. Now with that experience they have now ventured into these private discoms, private entities, be it the transmission pair, be it the distribution pairs, all of those are the clients of this Avana. So coming to their products, that what they are offering currently in they are offering this protection relays, which are like smart sensors to monitor this voltage, current, frequency, etc. So that is one part of their products, which they are offering from 11 kV to 20 kV. So not very high voltage, etc. as well, in the low to medium voltage segment. Other systems, as part of their product offerings, they are offering this control relay panels and automation systems. So these are like small cabinets which includes all of the products and integrates all of products, be it meters, control panels हो गए, small substations हो गए, small substations and transmission lines, etc. So all of these are part of this automation system, and these are used to generate power, monitor usage, and between the transmission lines and the substations. Now they have two facilities, all located in that Bangalore region only, and from for the orders, they are saying that we are sourcing orders from pan India basis, be it the Madhya Pradesh, Discom, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, and some private OEM players as well. Uh, so from that is the part of the where from they are sourcing these orders. So 80 to 80% of the revenues come from these private players only, and the rest is coming from these government discoms. And they are also saying that we are supplying some of the parts from this dealer network as well, but that it is very minimal, around 1.5 to 2% only. Some sales also comes from these after sales services, warranties, etc. So that is 1 to 2% only, minimal as of now. Further, they are saying that we would also expand into railways and some small components for railways and the railway substations and transmission lines as well. So that is for the future, nothing as of now. Now coming to financials, from 29 CR in FY23, they have now jumped to around 63 to 64 CR in this FY25. And now in the current first half of this year, they have done around 36 to 37 CR of revenues. So what they say that primarily when we got more repeated orders from these discoms and private players, they managed to grow this. Margins also saw improvement as their capacity is now fully utilized, around 90% utilization they are having, both in the relay panels as well in the control systems. And for the IPO, they are using the money to expand this capacity, which should come live somewhere in the next H2 of FY27. Profit margins have also increased. For H1, they are showing around 15%, but on a steady state stable basis, it should be around 13 to 13.5% is what they are saying. Now, coming to the IPO usage, apart from the OFS, where the four promoters who are the 100% holders before IPO in this company, so they are selling some part of their holdings. The fresh issue from the fresh issue, around 12 CR is for this capacity expansion only, in and around that PNR region only, where they already have the land, just they need to set up another facility, and around 8.5 to 9 CR is for this working capital. What they're saying that we would largely grow around 25 to 30% year on year. So that would be their CAGR projections. And given that the IPO pricing, it's around 13 times FY26 also, and around 15 to 16 times FY25. Lead manager here is end cap. So first issue in 2026, and in 2025 they had only two prior issues only. The one this JS Logistics and one some Icodex Publishing. Both are currently below the issue prices. Anchor list, however, was good enough. Founders Collective Fund was there. Art Capital, NAB Capital was also there. So that came in there. For peers, they have shown this Danish Power. Danish has a small portion of this control systems and this panel substation systems, but it is a largely transformer player only, and that trades around 90 to 20 times, given the recent fall in SMEs. Also, the one recent IPO came, Park Electrical. So they have more presence in this similar products to this Avana Electrosystems, and that also trades around 22 to 23 times. For the final thing, I think that competition is not very far in this segment. Many players are there, listed or unlisted, because the opportunity size is very large. Everywhere, the new discoms and these new private entities are going for new or maybe revamped structures of their substations and transmission lines. So they need these kind of products. So, but the product offering is also not very mooted. So there is no entry barrier in this segment. So whatever differentiation might come in, which would be whatever R&D they are doing and how well they are managing their working capital. That is the only differentiation apart from the other companies that are operating in similar segments. So that is how it for Avana.
Got it. Couple of things here. I think I saw Serene VNS ka underwriter. Like Indicap is there, but Serene is also there somehow involved with this issue, right? If I'm not wrong.
Cyril,
I think so. Like I saw the anchors as well
Yeah,
and
Syrian is
seen that.
underwriter in this.
Yeah, Serene is underwriting 85% of the issue. So that makes it super interesting like outside of everything else. But yeah. So, and then the anchor book was also decent,
yes,
right? Like you saw Fortune Hands and then you saw Founders Collective in the fund. So at least at IPO price seems like a good enough company to apply.
yes.
But then the segment is such that what do you do? But yeah, I'll be applying to this issue for sure. I'm hoping that the subscription is low
But the
because
issue
every.
size is small, so and it also has some GMP, so subscription is super high.
अच्छा हो गया है क्या अभी से सब्सक्रिप्शन मैंने देखा नहीं है आई वाज होपिंग सब लोग
Uh,
भारत कोकिंग कोल लगा दें यार ये फ्री हो जाए
सब्सक्रिप्शन तो आ ही जाएगा इसमें।
गॉट
Sachin, is
इट
this company similar to that Shivalik Power and V Deal, or are those different?
No, they are both of these are into LT-HT panels. This is into small substations and the control panels and control systems. So they are making the actual panels, and this guy is making some small components that go into these panels, just like Parth and some
Got
parts
it.
of Danish.
So technically into this is into the low value chain,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Those players itself are getting 10
नहीं नहीं
to
क्यों लो वैल्यूएशन क्यों पाथ तो कुछ तो
ये पार्क नहीं
नीश कंपोनेंट बनाता था मुझे
ये
ऐसा पता था
पार्क तो यार एंड टू एंड
हाँ
लाइफ साइकिल ऑलरेडी कर रहा है ना अभी बट शिवालिक इज इनटू कोई एलटी वेल्टी पैनल है कि सो 10-12 पी पे घूम रहा है इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग
Uh-huh.
नहीं 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 वो
Right.
तो 20 सब कुछ 20p में ही है एवरीथिंग इज समहाउ 20p.
ओके शिवालिक हैज गॉट बैडली डीरेटेड ना पोस्ट लिस्टिंग
हाँ it just that it when it opened at 80p. So that was
ओके ओ यस याद है वो ओल्ड
great.
सीसी वीडियोस यार
Yeah.
या इट्स 20p
बट नॉट वेरी डिफरेंट मतलब ये है उस वैल्यू चेन में मतलब थोड़ा बहुत सिमिलरिटीज होंगी लेकिन नॉट लार्जली वेरी डिफरेंट
गॉट इट So yeah, that is with respect to Avana Electrosystems. I'll be applying. I saw Serene found this collect. I like हाँ यहाँ लगाएंगे. But yeah,
That's all
let's
is
see.
needed for the review, no? For
Just being frank. But yeah, let's see. I'm not looking to hold it for long term for sure. But yeah, if I can get this is the way to go. Maybe what we'll do is we'll start with Indo SMC. Let me set up Indo SMC. Rohit, you can cover it and then incorporated in 2021, companies engaged in the design and manufacturing of diversified range of products catering to electrical, industrial, and infrastructure applications. It designs and manufactures enclosed box for energy meters, STCT, STPT, LTCT, LTHT distribution boxes and panels. So again, distribution boxes and panels manufacture करती है company. Indo SMC in terms of the IPO 92 crores का IPO है, all of which is a fresh issue. बड़ा IPO है. मार्केट कैप 341 करोड़ पे आ रही है कंपनी सो अराउंड 27% डाइल्यूशन है FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो 139 करोड़ का टॉप लाइन है एंड 15.5 करोड़ का बॉटम है so it's coming FY25 में तो it's coming at like what 22 times something like that LM की बात करें तो LM GYR Capital Advisors है so with that over to Rohit to talk about Indo SMC but still just want to highlight that we have also done a Know Your Promoter series of Indo SMC we'll put that interview tomorrow as well so definitely go ahead and listen to that as well to form a comprehensive review.
thanks, Manish. So I will actually be speaking a lot from what I learned from that interview. And of course, a lot of it, all of it is stuff in the RHP, but I'll just kind of use that as the flow to talk about this company. So I think, like you said, this is a large raise. It's a 92 crore raise. So it'll be interesting to see how the market absorbs it in this terrible liquidity phase. So what these guys do is they're a manufacturer of a bunch of different power and distribution products. These guys started with SMC, which is basically this thing called sheet molding compound, which is a kind of composite material made of glass fiber and some kind of polyester. And this has certain properties which makes it very good for it's used a lot in the automotive space, and it's also used in the power space specifically to make these boxes, boxes that hold your switch gears and stuff like that. Now this was the core product they started with. Then as they scaled this product up, they realized that some of their clients also had requirements for similar kinds of products in the power distribution space. So then they introduced the FRP segment, which is fiber reinforced polymers, and they also added some kind of current and potential transformers. These are not the kind of transformers that you would associate with, say, a Shilchar or a Taril or the kind of power and distribution transformer. These are actually measuring devices that measure the current. So they're not transformers in that sense. So these are the three focus areas that they have. Their largest segment, at least last year, uh, is the and has been so far. So that's not the case in H1, which I'll cover later. But their largest segment normally is this sheet molding compound division, where they make these meter boxes and these enclosures. That is about, I think, 50-60% of their business. Then about 25% of their business is this FRP, fiber glass reinforced plastic division, and the remaining comes into what they call other, which is all of these electrical component division. In H1, though, specifically, this third segment is actually the largest segment, so I'll cover that a little bit later. uh, Now these guys are a proper manufacturer. They have 4 manufacturing facilities across 3 states. They have a facility in Ahmedabad, in Rajasthan, and in Maharashtra. I think their original one was in Ahmedabad, which is where, and Ahmedabad itself is a hub for generally these SMC FRP products. Then they set up one in Rajasthan, and then they have one in Nashik also. And I think the Nashik one, if I'm not mistaken, is part of a larger facility where they actually, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think this is, if I remember right, it is where they also have another sister company which has some space. So they took some space from that and are using that for this as a third facility. Uh, Now, these guys largely work with all the big discoms, with the power infra EPCs, typical utility vendors. Now, one thing you'll see is that they have very high customer concentration, but generally they don't view that as an issue because they're trying to get more and more business from each player, and sometimes they can have slightly lumpy orders. But otherwise, I think this is one thing to note. This is a company that has grown at tremendous pace. They only were incorporated in 2021. In 23, I think they did FY23. They did about 7 crore revenue, which in H1 alone is about 110 crore, which is crazy growth. Last year they did about 140 crore. They've also been fairly consistent with both EBITDA and PAT margins, and for the last 3 periods, their PAT has been in that 10 to 11% range, and the management are confident they can maintain that. This year, the expectation is that they should be able to do around 280 crore or so, which is again fantastic growth. It's like doubling what they did last year. And if you assume that they're able to maintain their margins, they're coming at about 12 times this year's number, even if it is 22 times last year, with H1 itself being almost 11-12 crore PAT. If you double that, that is 23 crore PAT, assuming they do hit that 27-28, which they think they can, is not all that expensive for a manufacturing business. Coming at 12 times with extremely high growth. Now, comfort on this year's numbers are there because they have about a 140 crore pending order book, all of which will, or most of which will be delivered this year. Plus, they get a lot of their orders. So, if you look at their SMC division, which is their main division, most of the business comes in H2. So, there is high confidence that this year they will deliver their numbers, but they don't have long-term contracts, so there's nothing in the business that assures them repeat outside of their own relationships that they have with business, and then the belief that they will continue to win tenders. But that's a mantra, that's true for most businesses, and generally as they scale up, most at least the good businesses will continue to scale and will continue to grow. They're using the funds mainly for capacity addition. I don't recall exactly how much they're increasing capacity, but one statement that they made was capacity in general is not a problem because we can quickly add machines. They've been doing it so far. They've never, the kind of growth that they've had, it's clear that capacity has not been a bottleneck so far, and they're very confident that capacity itself will not be a bottleneck. They can always increase utilization by increasing the number of shifts, for example, if they need to. So there's enough levers for them with the IPO funds that they can keep growing, at a breakneck speed. Now, one thing that is mentioned in the RHP, which people will find interest in, is that they are going beyond just this power segment. Over the next 6 to 9 months, they will enter both the railways and the defense space, which are both segments people like. They have applied for the RDSO licenses. They're expecting, I think, that in the next 3 to 4 months, they'll get whatever license needed from the railway side. So in railways, this SMC uh, products are used typically in, say, the interiors of metro coaches. It's used in the washrooms and so on. So these are some products that they hope that by September, October, they'll be able to start supplying. Similarly, in defense also, they've done some, they've serviced some, they've done some subcontracting work for some defense companies. There's a company called Speed 4, which is a maker of bunkers. So they have supplied to them before Operation Sindoor, then all the tenders got shut. So they kind of slowed down then. They're again expecting that in the next 3 to 4 months, the tenders have started becoming open, and they're hoping that by March, April, they'll have won some tenders on the defense side too. So this is again something that could be interesting because they can diversify beyond the power segment, which is obviously not doing well at all today. This segment has derated like anything. There was a time when we would look at some of these companies in the segment and think, okay, you're getting it at 15 times FY26, 20 times FY26, thinking, okay, that's the bottom, and now you're getting everything at trailing 15 times, and nobody seems to care. So this is a segment which is little tricky. Power is not doing well, so that for me is probably the biggest risk. It is coming not very expensive. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I find it not a great time for a company like this to come. The anchor book was decent. I think Bengal Finance, which is Kacholia's, is the largest anchor. Lots of other smaller common names, but Bengal has taken the largest position. The anchor book just came. Uh, Promoter also is very, I really like the promoter. You guys can listen to the interviews. I think there are a couple of other interviews also online, so you guys can make your mind up. But clearly very, very driven, and what they've achieved in like 3 years is amazing. They're also, I think, one of the promoters is also the promoter of Accent Microcell, which is one of the other listed SMEs that has started doing better now. I think it had a long gestation for its capacity going live, but I think the capacity is about to go live there, and stock price also has kind of reflected that in the last 6 months. So yeah, I guess this is what you guys need to keep in mind. At 12 times, I think you don't have a lot to lose for a manufacturing business, at least by the time FY26 comes. So I think at IPO price, you should be protected if you are going to hold it for some time. They're also good investors, so you never know. There's a good chance it may also list a little bit above 15-20%, but it's a very, very large issue relatively. So if someone is interested in taking a position post listing, also I think you will get it without very high, without seeing too much of a pop above listing price. So overall, decent business, very high quality, very, very fast growing. 6 months ago, that would have done extremely well in the market when power was flying high, but at this time, this segment is completely out of favor. So just keep that in mind and make sure you have the capacity to hold for some time if you do want to take a position here.
Got it. Thank you, Rohit. PS कौन होंगे यार इसके? How do you look at the PS and where are they placed?
So there's no proper peer here, honestly. You have RMC switchgears, which does do a part of what these guys do. I think about 15-20% of their business is making the SMC boxes, but 80% of RMC business is just EPC. So it's not a like peer, and it has absolutely died. It's at some 7, 8, 9p or something. Aeron Composite is a peer for the FRP side, which is again something these guys do, which is 25% of what these guys do. Aeron Composite is also dead, but Aeron Composite, what I think it trades at 10 times maybe. What is it? I'm just checking, 12 times. I don't know what their projection is, but it's a company that has not really grown very fast. But that has also died post IPO at like 150, 160. Now it is 100. So yeah, these two are the ones that overlap. This guy makes this guy's 100% manufacturing business, is multiple segments, and clearly far more aggressive and driven and ambitious promoter, at least in terms of the numbers that they have delivered so far. So I think the market will value it higher than either of these companies for sure. But you are paying probably 16, 17 times on a trailing basis if you were to figure out what they did in H1 in H2 last year. But if you just look at it this year, you're paying 12 times this year. So it is already more expensive than these.
Got it. Makes sense, yeah. So that kind of makes it tricky, right? Because like the segment in itself is not doing super well, but the
Yeah,
business growth is so good that it kind of wants you to think
that's
that
true for
they can
all
do
of
well.
these power. To be honest, there's no company in the power segment that's actually not doing well in terms of numbers, in terms of growth, in terms of earnings, in terms of anything. But the segment is derating as if we're all going to switch off our lights for the rest of our lives and never need to consume electricity again. So, like beyond a point, you can't understand only what is happening, but derating is derating. So, 15p stock that is growing 100% will become 7p and stay at 7p. So, who knows? And then there'll be 50p stocks that grow at 1% that stay at 50p. That's how the market is.
I have seen that resignation from you multiple times in the last couple of days, but yeah, that is what it is. So with that, we have covered Indo SMC. Maybe in the interest of time, I would also be applying. I think IPO price, but there should be protection for sure. I don't know how I feel about the last size and especially like how the post movement would be, post IPO movement would be. We'll read more about it, but yeah, for sure, we'll apply to this IPO. Also, because there's no real clash. The real clash is with Amagi, right? Although, like, we'll read about Amagi, we'll listen about Amagi as well. But yeah, so let me set up Amagi in that case. The setting up Amagi, incorporated in 2008, company is a cloud-based broadcast and connected TV technology company providing end-to-end solutions for content creation, distribution, monetization across traditional TV and स्ट्रीमिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स तो टीवी पे जो कंटेंट आता है उसकी सैस कंपनी क्लाउड बेस्ड उसमें जो कंटेंट ट्रिम वगैरह होता है उसमें हेल्प करती है कंपनी टेक्नोलॉजी फर्स्ट कंपनी है मॉडर्न कंपनी ऑल्दो हैज बीन अराउंड फॉर लॉन्ग इन इट वाज इनकॉर्पोरेटेड इन 2008 so it's a 18-year-old company, so has obviously gone through its own iterations. In terms of the IPO, it's a 1800 crore IPO, 1789 to be specific. 816 crore fresh hai, 816. And then the remaining 900 crores or something is a OFS. Market cap 7810 crores, 7810 crores per company aa rahi hai. So, like 20% टाइप का डाइल्यूशन है. FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो रेवेन्यू 1223 करोड़ था, पैट नेगेटिव था कंपनी का, बट दैट वुड आल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ ESOPs and everything. Ideally these companies will be super positive because because EBITDA positive because they have like huge margins, gross margins at least, right? In terms of the LM is Kotak, City, Goldman, IIFL and Avendus. So with that, over to you, Tanmay, to talk about Amagi.
I'm audible.
Yeah.
So, Amagi Media Labs is a Bangalore-based software as a service SaaS company that enables TV networks, content owners, digital platforms to streamline and seamlessly launch, manage, distribute, and monetize live, linear, and on-demand content across cable, OTT, fast platforms. Uh, it helps providers and distributors to upload and deliver video content over the internet, which is also we call as streaming through television, phone and applications, etc. So I'll just read out the clients of this company: Lionsgate, Vivo, Sinclair, Fox, Stingray, Network 18, Vision, Shimaru, Sony, Roku TV, Rakuten, Encore, Universal Music, which is your UMC group, EPL, Warner Music, La Liga, Olympics. So what this company do is, so if you just look at the global dynamics towards content in India, what we have is, you know, let's say there's an Aztak. So what they're going to do is they're going to have a proper setup. Then there will be a cameraman and all this to make content and then stream it. But in US, if you go, the things have been evolved and it revolves towards the online or through cloud based content creation and distribution of the content. So majorly in terms of geography, the company derives 73% revenues from the Americas, 17% from the Europe, Asia Pacific is like 6.7%, Middle East is like 1.7%, and rest 1.4% is from India. So as we all know that always the this new technologies come in Europe and the Americas are the first to adopt this, and then maybe 5 or 7 or 8 years later down the line, like 3 4 years down the line, you have got Middle East, and then 7 8 years after that, you've got countries like India and the Southeast Asia Pacific, revolving towards this kind of a scenario of the new technologies. So this company eliminates the need for traditional cable or the set-top box services. So it just replaces this with pure software and cloud-based solutions. Magi supports every stage of the video content life cycle. So, like from the production to the content preparation to the distribution, monetization, and the personification of the content. Amagi works into this all of the life cycle journey of the content. So this they call this technology as glass to glass technology. So like from shooting टू दी वीवर, तो वो पूरा जो बीच का लाइफ साइकिल होता है उसमें पूरा आपका मागी comes into the play. If you just look at their revenue recognition or the revenue model, it is per user basis. It is not a fixed income. Like जितने लोग देंगे in terms of volumes, जितना बड़ा volume होगा उतना इनका revenue generation होते रहेगा. So the aim for of this company is to help content providers scale up globally and monetize them through advertisement. So this is not an ad tech company. Okay, ये advertisement technology पे काम नहीं करती. It streamlines and help these companies with advertising, but they don't directly get involved into this advertising stuff. It helps through monetization via different means. It is the largest cloud native software solution provider in terms of revenues. And if you just look at the clientele, like top 50 listed companies in the media and entertainment world, they get a 22 of these top 50 companies. So you can understand that it's a fairly, a large company, and it caters to the like very fine of the fine companies in this particular segment globally. The company has got three business models. One is just streaming unification, second is cloud modernization, and the third one is monetization and marketplace. The company is raising 1789 crores, out of which 816 crores is towards the fresh issue, and 973 crores is towards an offer for sale. In the fresh issue, the company has allocated 550 crores towards technology and cloud infrastructure development, and 266 crores towards unidentified acquisitions and general corporate purposes. Talking on its financials, in FY23, the company did a revenue of 680 crores, with an adjusted EBITDA loss of 141 crores, and a net loss of 321 crores. In FY24, the revenue saw a jump of 29.2% to 879 crores. So this is operating revenue, not the total income. Adjusted EBITDA was at 155 crores loss, मतलब negative EBITDA, and the net loss came at 245 crores. In FY25, the revenue jumped by 32% to 1162.6 crores. The adjusted EBITDA became positive to 23 crores, but the company suffered a PAT level loss of 68.7 crores. The H1 numbers are pretty good. 705 crores का revenue है, 58 crores का positive adjusted EBITDA and 6.5 crores का PAT है. So 34.6% का revenue growth in H1, which is like very fine on a like 100 million का base. So वन माइट से कि यार आईपीओ से पहले थोड़ा सा ज्यादा अचानक से प्रॉफिटेबल हो गया, बट इफ जस्ट लुक एट देयर पीएनएल एंड बैलेंस शीट वाला सब, आई डोंट फाइंड कि उन्होंने ज्यादा कुछ जगलरी करने की कोशिश किया है. इट फील्स लाइक नेचुरल टू मी. And in this SaaS models, the operating leverage is quite good. So if you just look at their balance sheet, like 40% of their fixed cost is your employee benefit expense, which has got all the back end cost. The company has got like 22% revenue spent towards R&D. So these two costs are driving this fixed cost वाला stuff. But बाकी उसके बाद जो भी चीजें आती है, that are going to come down due to the operational leverage, because like 70% gross margin kind of a business है, and it is doing fairly well. Now talking on the valuations, company is coming at 7,810 crore का post money valuation, 7,000 crore pre money है. So just look at the H1 numbers. I would just extrapolate those numbers based on the historical data. The full year number should be somewhat around 1450 crores ka top line, with like 120 crores ka adjusted EBITDA and like 1520 crores kind of a PAT. Uh, on talking on the FY27 kind of a numbers, so 1800 kind of a top line, which should be like 22 to 24% kind of a top line growth with like 13% EBITDA margins, adjusted EBITDA margins. So this is based on the operating leverage plus the currency uptick, which has went from like 84 to 90 rupees a dollar. That should also help this company gaining more margins. Adjusted EBITDA of somewhat around 250 crores and a PAT of like 70-80 crores. So this EBITDA number is very slightly on a conservative basis. It can expand till 300, but if we just look at the mean, it is coming at like 26, 27 times FY27 EV EBITDA, which is slightly discount to or to at par to this Indian SaaS companies. But just talking on Amagi specifically, the product of this company is best globally, largest globally, and widely acceptable and very one of a kind model. I don't know such kind of a company. I know there are few companies which do like a couple of or three or four services out of the 8 to 10 services provided by Amagi, but as a apple to apple, there is no comparison globally. So what I feel is like we are at the end of FY26 and markets are going to look even at the 2 year forward FY28 numbers. So if you just look at it, it looks like company has left like 20-25% kind of a scope on the table for the medium term, which means like 6 to 9 months. So what I feel is key, I don't expect very much fireworks in the very short term, but the company is fairly good. If you just look at the cap table, you've got Azim Premji Invest, you've got Axel, you've got Novest, you've got Kalpa Partners, Pandora Holdings, and there are many investors. But yes, the promoter stake is very less, like 15.5% post IPO, which is like, fine as per the trend of these SaaS companies and the unicorns. The valuation saw a good, downgrading. So when what I remember is during the like DRHP had got filed, the company was targeting like 15,000, 13 to 15,000 kind of a valuation. Then it came down to like 10,500 pre-money, which was like 11,500 post-money. Now it has came to 7,800. So the company has already seen a lot of valuation downgrade. And I feel कि ये valuation में ना मतलब slightly there is a good comfort कि there is no much downside on these valuations, but you can't expect this stock getting like 100% or 15% kind of a return, but it should do well. The promoters have found are very good, well educated, very high quality promoters. uh, Talking on price to sales, it is coming at like somewhat around like 4.5 times FY27 sales. EV by sales, which is like fine. If you just look at do it at like 6 to 6.5 times, the stock should do like 40% kind of an upside in like maybe 12 to 18 months down the line. So I'm quite positive on this company, but don't expect I don't expect a lot of fireworks coming in. We might see small kind of listing ins like, but this is all the market sentiments are going to drive this. So good company, good promoters, very unique business. Yes, the negatives include the very high exposure towards the American markets, but yeah, we all know market wahi pe hai, to revenue concentration wahi pe rehna hai. And this segment is here to grow. The Indian market should also open up for the company like maybe after 2 or 3 years down the line. It's a good company, can be looked for medium to long term. If markets are good, it should also deliver some kind of a listing pop or some kind of a short term frenzy. The anchor book was just out. Decent anchor book. We saw SBI mutual fund, Aditya Birla mutual fund, HDFC, Fidelity, Motilal Oswal. Then you've got Tata mutual fund, IFL, Amundi, PGIM, and we've got two new funds, which was like Creaegis करके एक fund है, and we saw new one. And so Creaegis is a fund started by an former Premji Invest partner who left Premji Invest in 2023. So he is one of the guy who knows this company because he was also in Premji Invest like back then. He has started his own fund, and this is, I guess, his first ever anchor. We also saw Helios, Samir Arora's fund. So, fairly decent. I won't say very great, but fairly good anchor book. So, overall, a good company. Can be evaluated for medium to long term. Short term and listing gains should be looked as per market sentiments. As per me, यार थोड़ा सा तो मतलब short term upside बनना चाहिए, but don't expect hefty gains.
Got it. Thank you, Tanmay. Couple of pointers which I feel this company somehow really reminds me of Capillary, which had just came. Again, different segment, but again, both of them were SaaS. Both of them had like started very long back and then had repivoted the model, and this is like have done started doing well with a lot of exposure to global markets. I somehow feel it will do similar, where it should do well after listing per se, if like because there should be interest to buy this, especially at this price. But there are a couple of pointers which I want to highlight. One which I feel, it's in media, right? Media usually doesn't tend to get high multiples, right? Like because people in media don't have a lot to spend because they're just competing so much on like channels are competing each other with so much on cost, etc., that they do not have so much to spend for their vendors, right? So this is a vendor for media. Second, the market is super niche, right? Like it is still in media, and like the market, it's a small market, it's already holding a lot of it per se. So the growth, it can't continue to grow forever, right? Like at least you don't see a clear growth as well. So those two things are what I feel as slight negatives per se. But other than that, also I like the company. I think that it should do well. It's a SaaS company and it's priced well. It's priced at like 6 times sales. And has left something on the table, especially after the last cut. Like the valuation which we were expecting, it came lower than that. So good company. I would probably be applying if the market support should probably give some gain as well. But yeah, we'll see. Anything that you want to add on this media part?
So yes, yeah, no. Frankly speaking, we have seen even the Asian market is media companies don't tend to do well. But this is like kind of a technology provider, and also I've seen, no, the business model of this company is to empower the media companies, and not even the media, this OTT players, or let's say an Olympics or a La Liga or an EPL, to upsell or cross sell or increase the advertising, increase their presence globally, deepen their reach. So it is kind of an empowerment company than a direct kind of a vendor. So I feel it cannot be a very D-rated player, but I agree कि इसको वो मतलब एकदम 30 टाइम FY28 EBITDA मिल गया, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. I fully agree upon this, but it should get decent multiples. On the growth part, uh, so in this segment, there are globally like 3,000 companies. So I'm not talking about Amagi wala say, I'm talking about the clients. 28 से 3,000 क्लाइंट, जो समझ लो 500 टाइप्स के प्लेयर्स इंडिया में रहेंगे. So this company at this point serves to like 450 clients, and we have got Middle East which is getting opened like anything in terms of this, and then you have got Asia which is still a very very untapped market for this company क्योंकि अब यहाँ पे adoption नहीं है. So I feel when the growth will reach at a certain scale in the Americas and the Europe is still very untapped for this company. Americas is fully explored. Europe में और growth आएगी. Either you got Asia, then you have got the Middle East. So for next 5 years, not 5 years maybe, but for 3 years, growing above 20, like 20% CAGR should not be a big worry. And but yes, the day this growth goes below 20, the stock will get killed. This we all have seen in this, unicorn companies.
Got it. Yeah, that is with respect to Amagi. Let's see how it evolves. I would interested in the company, but your markets are so bad that we'll have to take a call closer to the last day. With that, let's move forward and talk about one fourth company. The fourth company we'll be discussing is Bharat Coking Coal. Setting it up, incorporated in 1972, companies engaged in the production of coking coal, non-coking coal, and washed coal. The company is a wholly owned subsidiary of Coal India Limited. तो काफी हॉट आईपीओ है. कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड की सब्सिडरी का, बीसीसीएल, भारत कोकिंग कोल, कल बंद हो रहा है. सेटिंग अप द आईपीओ, इट्स अ 1071 crore IPO, all of which is a OFS, zero fresh issue. Everything is going to the government of India because President of India is the promoter of the company. मार्केट कैप 10,700 crores है, तो 10% का डाइल्यूशन है. रेवेन्यू की बात करूं तो 14,400 का टॉप लाइन है, 1240 का बॉटम लाइन है. सो इट्स कमिंग एट लाइक 8 times FY25. FY26 में शायद H1 में कुछ तो कम हो गया नंबर या कुछ, वील अंडरस्टैंड. एलएम की बात करूं तो एलएम आईडीबीआई कैपिटल एंड आईसीआईसीआई सिक्योरिटीज है. सो विद दैट, ओवर टू यू तन्मय टू टॉक अबाउट भारत कोकिंग कोल.
Sure. So first of all, I'd like to correct one thing is कि OFS का पैसा कोल इंडिया के पास जा रहा है, not government of India. वो डिविडेंड थ्रू बाहर निकालेंगे. So
ओके.
Bharat Coking Coal Limited is India's largest producer of coking coal with a market share of 58.5%. And this overall coal, domestic coal production, they have got 4% market share. The company produces various grades of coking coal, non-coking coal, and washed coals for applications, primarily in the power sector and also in steel and fertilizer. So power is like, I guess, 85, no, 80% kind of revenue, and steel is like 3-4%, and fertilizer like 1-2%. बाकी इनका captive washeries में जाता है. So फर्स्ट ऑफ इसका क्लाइंटेल बता देता हूँ. दे हैव गॉट क्लाइंटेल लाइक एनटीपीसी सेल, दामोदर वैली कॉर्पोरेशन, योर उत्तर प्रदेश विद्युत निगम, पीएसपीसी which is Punjab State Power Corporation, Jhajjar Power, Maithan Power, and all this. So majority of these names are the thermal power plants. Okay, दामोदर वैली हो गया, बाकी सब हो गया. तो ये उनको कोकिंग कोल सप्लाई करता है. दे हैव गॉट वन पीएसयू क्लाइंट व्हिच इज स्टील अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया लिमिटेड इन द पावर इन द स्टील सेगमेंट. सो बिफोर स्टार्टिंग इनटू ऑल दिस थिंग्स, आपको मैं एक अच्छी से डायनामिक समझाता हूँ कि व्हाट वेयर इन व्हाट इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ इंडियन कोकिंग कोल, इसका कैसा रियलाइजेशन होता है, एंड हाउ इज द ग्लोबल डायनामिक्स ऑफ दिस. सो coking coal is considered a value added product. Not so value added has got two meanings. First is higher in the complexity, and second is processed. So this is not a processed product but considered better to your normal raw coal. Okay. So coking coal generally is used in your steel sector and not in power. Power में भी use होता है, no doubt, but steel is the major consumer of this coal. But उनका एक requirement होता है कि हमारा जो ash content है, which is you know supplement बोल लो, which is naturally there in the coking coal, should be 12% or lower in the overall finished coking coal product. तो इंडिया में जो कोकिंग कोल होता है विच इज नेचुरली मेड, तो उसमें 30% होता है, 30%. सो इंडियन कोकिंग कोल इज कंसिडर्ड द मोस्ट इंफीरियर ग्लोबली. सो इसका ऐसा चेन है, द मोस्ट बेस्ट कोकिंग कोल इज ऑस्ट्रेलियन, देन इट कम्स टू यूएस, देन इट इज मोजाम्बिक विच इज एन अफ्रीकन नेशन. फोर्थ पे आता है इंडिया. बाकी फिर छोटे छोटे बहुत सारे रिजर्व्स है, बट सम इन कनाडा, सम इन सम अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज, दैट इज समवॉट हियर एंड देयर बिटवीन यूएस एंड द मोजाम्बिक वाला कोकिंग कोल. सो इसके कारण जो इंडियन कुकिंग कोल होता है दैट गेट्स अ वेरी लोअर रियलाइजेशन, और उसको आप कैसे मिटिगेट करते हो. सो फॉर लोअरिंग द टैश कंटेंट, द कोल इज वॉश्ड, और उसके कारण इनका वॉशरीज का कैपेसिटी होता है. सो एट दिस पॉइंट दे हैव गॉट लाइक आई गेस 3.5 मिलियन टन एमटीपीए का कैपेसिटी फॉर वॉशरीज. सो वॉशरीज से आपका जो एश कंटेंट होता है वो कम होता है. And the company is also looking to double their washeries in like till FY 28, I guess FY 28 का second half में इनका double हो जाएगा to 7 million MTPA. तो ये कैसे, so how Indian company which is mostly BCCL का इसका composition कैसा है. Let's say मैंने 100 like considering 100 as their production. So these guys have got 34 operational mines, out of which 4 are underground, 26 are open cast, 4 are mixed mines. तो लेट्स से मैंने माइंस में से कोल निकाला. at that point it is somewhat around 28 to 26 to 34% ash content. Then उसका मैंने लेट्स से मैंने 100 प्रोडक्शन किया 100 रुपीज, तो मैंने 100 प्रोडक्शन में से मैंने 15 वॉशरीज में भेजा. उससे मेरा एश कॉन्टेंट समवॉट अराउंड 20% हो गया. फिर उसको मैं मिक्स करता विद ऑस्ट्रेलियन इंपोर्टेड कोल विच इज लाइक 60%. अगर 100 का ये है तो मैं उसके अंदर 150 का और मिक्स करूंगा, तो 250 में से मेरा अप्रॉक्स 100 इंडियन कोल है, 150 ऑस्ट्रेलियन कोल है. सो द ब्लेंडेड लेवल ash content is somewhat around 14 to 16%. Okay, so this is still not acceptable in the steel sector. It is only acceptable in the power sector, which is your thermal coal, thermal power plants. So when a coking coal is not acceptable in the steel segment, उसका भाव ऑटोमेटिकली नीचे हो जाता है. उनका सेल के साथ ओनली सेल, एंड वी ऑल नो पीएसयू हेल्प्स पीएसयूज. तो वो जो सेल का जा रहा है, वी नो इट हैज गॉट अ पीएसयू काइंड ऑफ कनेक्शन. तो उनका ऐसा होता है कि अगर ऑस्ट्रेलियन कोकिंग कोल अगर 100 रुपए में बिक रहा है, तो इंडियन बीसीसीएल का कोल 62.5, दिस इज देयर 62.5% इज द लीगल एग्रीमेंट. उसका कितना साल का टेन्योर है आई डोंट नो दैट, बट एट दिस पॉइंट दिस इज द what we can say agreements, arrangements these guys are having. So now you have to look at the global dynamics ki how is the price of the coking coal at this point, and how it is, how are the dynamics globally. So the biggest consumer of your coking coal globally is your Chinese steel sector, which is at this point in some pain. It is in some slowdown, and the realization of the Chinese steel is lower at this point. And we are also seeing some kind of and when there is a downtrend in your steel sector in China, we have always seen the prices softening in India, because they tend to dump some of their additional supply in India, which at this point has slightly started. So how are the coal prices impacted? The first is realizations. Okay. The second is Australian imported coking coal prices. So just look at this dynamic. Australian imports have been so India में at this point 6 महीने से oversupply चल रहा है. Okay. Oversupply of Australian coking coal, which is bringing the price down first. Second, जो oversupply that is of a much better quality than what BCCL supplies. एंड द थर्ड इज, उसके कारण होता क्या है, इनका अगर एक्स प्राइस अगर ऑस्ट्रेलियन कोकिंग कोल का कम हुआ तो एक्स प्लस समथिंग बीसीसीएल का रियलाइजेशन कम होता है. एंड द मार्जिन एट विच ऑस्ट्रेलियन माइनर्स एंजॉय इज आई एम ऑलमोस्ट 3 times of what BCCL does. क्योंकि BCCL का आप अगर देखोगे ना, इनका आई गेस 60% ऑफ देयर कॉस्ट आर फिक्स. ओके, और बाकी को 40 होता है, उसमें फिर इनका वेरिएबल कॉस्ट रहता है, विच इज योर मे बी टैक्सेस, यू हैव गॉट प्रॉफिट्स, यू हैव गॉट ग्रॉस मार्जिन के बाद का सारी चीजें. सो 40% में इनको सारी कॉस्ट मैनेज करती, वेयर ग्लोबली द ग्रॉस मार्जिन समewhat around 60 to 70%. So these guys have got lot to lose because they earn that much margin. They can afford to lose that. But a player like a BCCL cannot lose that much margins. उसके बाद the rainfall in the mine surrounded geography. So as we all know, 95% of the mines, or rather the reserves of the coking coal of BCCL, are surrounded in a region called as which is in Jharkhand. Okay, and that region saw the highest ever rainfall in 2025 historically, which was like I guess 2200 something which is generally 1500 types. So उसके कारण उनकी माइंस में पानी भर गया, उनके कारण प्रोडक्शन हो नहीं पाया, and also the demand was subdued, the realizations were lower, which led the FY26 first half to be very poor. मैं financials पे बाद में आऊंगा. The next is ash content and grades. uh, इंडिया का कोकिंग कोल सबसे बुरा होता है, एंड वी ऑल शुड एक्सेप्ट इट नेचुरली. इट इज नॉट कि वी हैव गॉट सम नो लेस कैपेबिलिटीज, उसमें कोई ये नहीं है. यस, व्हाट वी कैन और व्हाट बीसीसीएल एज अ कंपनी कैन डू इज इंक्रीज द वॉशरी कैपेसिटी, जो दे आर डूइंग ग्रेजुअली. अब पहले 13-14% कैप्टिव था, दैट इज गोइंग टू लाइक 28%, एंड इट शुड गो टू 40%. बट यस, दिस ऑल 40% शुड टेक 5 years, विच इज स्टिल अ वेरी बिग टाइम फ्रेम. उसके बाद आपको जियो पॉलिटिक्स होता है. The steel sector, steel demand globally heavily impacts the coking coal, because there are very big giants, globally, which impact the coal price in terms of realizations, which is like tech resources from your Canada. We've got Whitehaven Coal from Australia, Met Coal, Alpha Metallurgical from US. Then another couple of unlisted players. तो इनका भी ये प्राइसिंग में बहुत ज्यादा रोल होता है. Now, what BCCL is looking to do is, it is looking to increase their wallet share towards steel sector, which I feel is on paper जिसको असलियत में execute करना बहुत मुश्किल है. They're looking to double their washer capacity, which is quite good. They're also looking to monetize some kind of an assets, of washery asset, which are at this point not operational, or the mine assets, which should lead to some further liquidity. It's a cash generating business, but यार still मतलब इनका कुछ ऐसा बहुत cash generation, it is like decently cash generating business. In H1 they had to take 1600 crore short term loans to just carry on the operations. उसके बाद भी इनके books पे cash कुछ 100-150 crore है, which is very less given the size of the operations and the nature of the business. अभी इसके financials पे मैं आता हूँ. So by the way, IPO size is like 1068. So it is 1071, but वो employee का जो quota है उसमें discount है. So post that, net issue is 1068.8 crores. Fully on offer for sale, 10% dilution. The money is going to go towards no to the Coal India Limited, which is a listed company. So by the way, before going into financials, I'll mention one more point is India is looking to take their capacity of coking coal to 1.5 times of what I guess 1.5, 1.4 times or 4 5 times. I'm not able to recall the exact number. I was knowing, but I'm not able to recall till 2030. But if you just look at BCCL, they are saying कि हमारा at this point I guess 44 million tons का production है, which we are taking to 54 till 2030, which is like 30%, which is not very encouraging. For like 5 साल में 30% is not that encouraging. But if you just look at the target of what government is pitching, that is somewhat around 60 to 70% higher than the current production. तो इस पे सवाल पूछा गया तो मैनेजमेंट को. सो व्हाट मैनेजमेंट हैज आंसर्ड इज, we are thinking to take it above 54, but we all know PSUs tend to work very slow. मतलब 54 execute करना इनके लिए मुश्किल है. 54 के ऊपर is not actually very, it is theoretically fine, but practically it is very tough to execute. So the company is expecting the market share of domestic coal production, coking coal production, falling from 56% to like 36 to 38%. What I have done is just like FY30 का target को लिया मैंने और इनका a 95% optimum production पे मैंने उसको divide किया है. And players like Tatas are also entering this segment, which the management has said it explicitly on the television. So this is official in nature, nothing of my head I'm using. So the market is going to fall, and when private players come in, there is always some competitive landscape coming in, because yeah, these guys have got, they also want to make their product get sold and at a very good realization. But the second point is a government entity always gets backed by a government entity, so वो तो इनका चलते रहेगा. So what I feel is कि looking at the reserves of what BCCL has, if you just look at the increasing production CAGR from like maybe next 20 years, this company has got reserves for next 90 years. 90 साल का reserves है इन पे. Estimated reserve, because this is all just estimates. So this is never going to happen कि mining है तो इनका reserves खत्म होगा उसके बाद क्या. 90 साल का तो कोई टेंशन नहीं है. I don't even think anyone of here is anyone no anyways looking to invest even 9 years. So that should not be a problem. Second is the demand should never go down, because thermal power is here to stay. It is here to stay for next 50 years. India doesn't have got nuclear capabilities, let's be frank. India doesn't have got that big Niagara Falls जहाँ पे बहुत सारा बड़ा बड़ा हाइड्रो का प्रोजेक्ट बैठेगा. India's got very limited hydro power. So and what I feel is कि increasing solar renewable energy demand is also going to push government for more thermal, because solar cannot ये base, or still we are saying BSS बढ़ेगा, still 24 hours electricity is not easy in the large CNI segment. So thermal power is here to stay and here to grow, so the demand is never going to fall. Now talking on the financials, FY23 13,691 crore का top line with 665 का PAT. FY24 four saw like 4-5% top line growth to 14,452 crores ka top line with 1,564 crore ka PAT. So 2024 was a golden year for all the majority coking coal companies, but the realizations started coming down in 25. Revenue grew by like 5% another to 1,000. Sorry, not 5%. It is like 1% growth, 2% growth to 14,597 crores with a PAT of 1,240 crores. In H1, the revenue fell by 14% to 6,311 crores, but a PAT fallen by 80% to 123.9 crores, which is very poor. And let me tell you that H2 should be again a horrible quarter. I was just looking at the contracts done by the Australian Met Coal, sorry, not Australian Met Coal, Met Coal, Met Warrior Coal in the Americas, and also Anglo, there is one more Anglo American company in this. तो उनका जो जनवरी के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दैट इज एक्चुअली मच लोअर प्राइस देन योर डिसंबर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, और डिसंबर प्राइस मच लोअर देन योर सितंबर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स. तो वी ऑल नो कि इसका H2 भी हॉरिबल है. Q1 Q2 of FY27 should also continue to be horrible. So we all know कि यार the price is always going to draw down post listing, because like what market buzz is, as per that it should list at a decent premium. I'll be coming on valuations at a later point. बट आई एम क्वाइट श्योर कि ये लिस्टिंग के बाद इसमें अच्छी धुलाई होगी. रीजन बिंग इसका H2 खराब आएगा. H1 शुड कंटिन्यू टू बी वेरी पुअर. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं H1 27 में लॉस ही आ जाए if the things don't improve. And looking at the trends of Chinese steel, the geopolitics, I expect कि H1 should be again a very very horrible quarter. तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं H1 में लॉस ही आ जाए इनका FY27 में, which is very much anticipated. अभी इसका आप वैल्यूएशन देखो ना यार, तो इट इज नॉट इजी टू वैल्यू दीज कंपनीज ऑन योर ट्रेडिशनल पैरामीटर्स. मतलब बहुत ज्यादा ट्रेडिशनल पे करना पड़ता है. लाइक नो वेरी आई हैव वैल्यूड दिस कंपनी DCF. जनरली आई डोंट यूज DCF, बट आई एम जस्ट लुकिंग ऑन द टर्मिनल वैल्यू एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. सो आई कैन नॉट लुक इट ऑन पी बेसिस, क्योंकि पैट तो हर साल कभी 2,500 करोड़ आ जाएगा, कभी -2,500 आ जाएगा, कुछ भी आ जाएगा इसके अंदर. सो P cannot be a parameter to judge. A book value cannot be a parameter to judge explicitly. उसके बाद so what I had done is I have put in my valuation metrics on my final verdict, which can just go and check on my profile. उसके अंदर मैंने तीनों का वेटेज वगैरह करके दिया. So what I feel is कि company deserves a 30%, 25, 30, 35% kind of an upside in the short to medium term, but it should correct for sure post listing. Reason being, results are going to be horrible. Anchor work we saw कि बहुत कितना पानी में थे एंकर दिखे बिल्कुल. There was no genuine demand. We all know when LIC comes, what is the situation at the top level. So I'm not very optimistic post listing. Yes, रिटेलर की मस्ती रहेगी बिकॉज 23 रुपए का शेयर प्राइस है. देर ओनली थे जैसे 23 का शेयर है, कोल इंडिया 400 पे, ये भी चला जाएगा 400. सो दे आर गोइंग टू जस्ट टेक इट अप till a point, but it is bound to fall off. It is 100% bound to fall post it. So my view is ki I'll be applying for listing gains. If I get allotted, I might look to upon holding it for like 1 or 2 days for retailer ki masti. After that, I'm surely going to take it completely out of my portfolio for like maybe 6 to 9 months. If you are an investor who likes like 3, 4, 2, 3, 4% dividend yield, 5, 10, 15% compounding, you can look at after like 1 year, maybe post H1 of FY27. So we cannot judge what should be the realizations and all this global scenario. No one knows what kind of geopolitical tensions we are going to see after maybe 9 months down the line. But what I feel is, as per my thesis, it is a pure listing a candidate uske baad tata bye bye bolna is a very good option. Like I might even evaluate in the मैं नहीं निकालता हूँ, but I am less to hold it beyond a point.
Got it. Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you for that review. I'll also be applying to this company. Any pointers on how the subscription would look like? I was hearing that it can cross all levels and shareholders especially kitta jayega, because I know a lot of shareholders are there. And also like there are a couple of questions with respect to what happens if, because shareholder usually is proportionate, right? So if it is going more than 14x, which I think is already done, how would the shareholder allotment be done? Can you hear me? Tanmay, can you hear me? Sachin,
Yes, yes,
Rohit?
audible, audible. कुछ
तन्मय तो बता नहीं कहा गया. But yeah, I can in the meanwhile cover, right? So, like let's say because this would be like in shareholder, I expect it to be around 50x, right? At least. So अगर 52x है, let's say, तो 14 times अगर आपने 14 times पे तक allotment है. But if it is 50 to 54x, तो 1 out of 4 people who apply a 2 lakh worth of application will get one lot of 15,000. सो बेसिकली 4 अकाउंट्स अगर आप शेयर होल्डर डालोगे तो एक में मिलना चाहिए पैसे, 4 or 5. दैट टू लाइक दैट नंबर शुड बी प्रिटी बिग, राइट? सो दैट इज हाउ it would look like. So that's going to be tricky in terms of the shareholder. In terms of other allotment, also I anticipate a lot of fight for allotment here. Like I think HNI is a big HNI is already 18 times, so it should cross somewhere around 50 times. I feel at this rate. Although 80,000 applications are done, okay. I'll have to look, but it should be pretty high per se. Like I think it should go around 2 lakh applications. So yeah, 50 times. SHNI should be 200 times and retail should be 40 times, something like that. So expect a lot of fight in this. But yeah, would be applying just to test my luck, and also I have shareholders, so might as well use the shareholder quota. I'm hoping at least to get a couple of lots across my accounts. But yeah, would do some would get some allotment and then see. That is with respect to Bharat Coking Coal. That brings us to the end of this episode. Just want to highlight that if you joined the space, um, we do all our spaces through Sunday Investing channel only, which so definitely go ahead and follow the Sunday Investing channel, please. And make sure that if you join something in between, we'll put this on YouTube as well, so you can listen to this at your own leisure. But yeah, with that, we are towards the closing of this week's episode. We'll come back next week with next set of issues. But yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for joining. Have a great day ahead.
thank you everyone.